Hello. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and I am a writer and I write under the pen name of Frances June. You can find an array of books of mine in the description below. Now, if you are a regular viewer, you'll know that this doesn't happen very often. Every year I think to myself, is this the year I'm going to start doing YouTube regularly? And every year it's not. So probably this year is also not, and I'm not gonna lie. And I'm sorry if I start looking in random places. I just got a new phone and I'm using that to film because I didn't charge any of my cameras. So this isn't gonna be great quality, even though probably is okay because phones are pretty decent right now. And I wanted to get the tree in because I'm gonna take it down later. So this is the last hurrah for the tree for this year. Anywho, I wanted to jump on because it's 2023, and if you are a writer or if you just like to know what writers are up to, this is the time of year where everybody's jumping on YouTube and socials and talking about their plan for the year. And I am no different. Also, I'm very handsy, so I apologise. So I went to the coffee shop, my local coffee shop yesterday, which is where I tend to do most of my work because my home office is a complete tip. It's a complete nightmare. And this is the year that we say this every year as well. This is the year where we're going to fix the office and make it workable, usable. But this is really the year for that. I'm on such a huge office kick, if that's the thing. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I'll circle back round to this because I do want to do some YouTube videos this year, just for the sake of listening to myself talk out loud, which is my favourite thing to do. Yes, back to the matter at hand. I'm so sorry. I am a bit of a scatterbrain. 2023, I actually feel, it kind of feels right saying 2023 and at the same time I hate it. I think I just like the number 23 because I remember when I was 23, that was a good time, and now I am so far away from that age, it's worrying. But we're going to move on. I really feel like this is such a dark video, but it's really dark outside, and I don't have any lights in here, I just have one lamp. Mostly because it's kind of cozy, but at the same time it's because I need to change my actual light, and I've put that off for over a year as well. This is the thing. The one thing that I'm not going to put off is writing, so let me just get into it. I have got so many things on the back burner, so many books and stories on the back burner that I really need to get out this year. So I decided that this is the year where I'm actually going to just start kicking things out the door. I have a list of 6 things to do this year. So I've got 6 projects on the go for this year. And that's not particularly to finish all 6 things. Some of them are starting or restarting. But some of them are going to be published and kicked out of the door and into the realm of readership, or the desolate desert where all of my other books live. If you've got this far into the video, please consider buying one of my books. I'm terrible at marketing. That's one of the things I'm going to do this year. So what do I have on the go? Let's talk about it. I have a few series that are already like on Amazon. So I've got the Fantasy Girl series, which starts with Etta, that's the first book, and then the second book is Baby Steps. And then I also have my 7 Princes of Hell series. So Etta, the Fantasy Girl series, is middle grade fantasy adventure. The 7 Princes of Hell is an adult series, it's urban fantasy. And then I've got some, I was going to say I've got some one-offs for this year, but I actually don't have any one-offs for this year. I'm starting a new series. I'm actually potentially starting 2 new series. Let's just head into it. So I've actually set up my year in quarters because I see a lot of people doing that, and it actually does help me mentally frame things. I've kind of self-diagnosed myself as ADHD, but it makes complete sense for my entire life. I find it really hard to plan for the future, but also visualize the future. if you follow me on Instagram, you probably would have seen that I was posting about my planning yesterday, and it really does kind of, it's like an erase button. As soon as I start thinking about the future, my mind just goes blank. So this is the best I could do. And I'm going to put this out now and say, if you have any great planning apps, and I mean like something that will show a visual, like a calendar, but not using the calendar, if you know what I mean. Like a good visual of what you need to do. I don't know, like I can imagine what I want to use, but I can't describe it. Anyway, if you've got any good planning apps, particularly for writing, drop them in the comments. We're 5 minutes in, almost 6 minutes, and I've not even started yet. So apologies, I'm going to try and edit this, but who knows what future Sam will do. So Q1 of this year, I will be working on finishing the 3rd instalment of Etta. There are a couple of titles knocking around. I really struggle to name my projects. So I have a couple of titles knocking around, but I tend to wait sometimes for things to be finished before I really settle on a title. So I'm going to finish the first draft of the 3rd Etta book. I call them Etta books, even though it's the Fantasy Girl series, but that's going to get done. I'm also going to be finishing off my 2nd draft of what I'm calling Nightingale Road, but that's not the final title, which is the book that I started for NaNoWriMo 2 years ago, and is like my actual favourite project to date. And I've been writing for about 10 years, and it is my ultimate favourite story. I absolutely love it. The plan for that this year is going to be sending that to agents, but we're not there yet. And I'm also going to be re-editing a book that I wrote and sent to agents a fair few years ago, which is the first in a werewolf series. I cannot give up vampires and werewolves, so that's never going to happen. I'm just waiting for them to come back in fashion. So my werewolf series, the first one, which also needs to be retitled, and we're getting there. So yeah, it's basically just redrafting and editing for the first quarter, and that's just to get me into the working mode. I did so much, I feel like I did so much writing and editing in 2022 that the actual writing from scratch seems daunting. It always seems daunting when you've not done it for a while. So I mean, yeah, well, that's the first quarter. The second quarter, I'm going to be prepping my young adult fantasy for agents, which means getting a list of agents who are looking for my particular book. Last time I think I queried about 50 agents. So I'm going to maybe try and up that and try and get a list of about 100 to 150 agents, and start putting in a spreadsheet what they're looking for, and also what you need to do in order to submit to them, which will mean writing a couple of different synopsises, some different covering letters, and yeah, trying to come up with like elevator pitches and stuff. So it's all the fun stuff that you know you should do before you start a project, but you don't do until the very end, and then you regret it. In Q2, I'll also be finishing up the first draft of the next instalment of 7 Princes of Hell, which I'm really looking forward to. The story is just opened up in the second book, which was released at the end of last year. Yeah, that's a fun series to write. So that one is going to be drafted and edited in Q2. And I'm also going to be publishing in Q2, which is going to be my werewolf young adult fantasy book. That is also near and dear to my heart. I do have kind of a big edit due on it. The actual structure of the story, the characters, everything is good and almost ready to go, but there is just a part of the story that I need to reframe. And it's the part that I struggled with the most writing the book. So it's kind of the situation with the quote-unquote bad guy and a social structure element. It's hard to describe, and I don't want to give anything away, but it's almost like a sensitivity edit. I just think I could do better with what I wrote. And that one will be published, I'm hoping by June, but like July at the latest. But yeah, that'll be a fun thing to do, and I kind of need to get a cover sorted out for that, so I'm going to be looking into somebody to design the cover. And I'm really bad at this, I should have written this better. I'm going to be recovering the second installment of the Fantasy Girls series, Baby Steps. That one, the new cover really was due last year, but that will be coming out in Q1. I'm also going to be publishing a short story to my website, which is going to be specifically just for my email subscribers, called The Cloud, and I wrote that last year, and I just need to do the final edit on that, but that's not going to take very long. Okay, does any of this make sense? Probably not. Q3, publishing the third installment of Etta, 100%, prepping the third installment of Seven Princes of Hell for publication, but that's not going to happen until Q4, so we'll come back to that. But I'll just be prepping it and doing final edits and formatting and things. I'm going to be sending my young adult fantasy from NaNoWriMo 2 years ago. I'm going to be sending that out to the agents after I've got my list ready. And I'm also going to be drafting up 4 supernatural cozy mysteries. So if you are a subscriber to my emails, I released a supernatural cozy mystery onto my website for Christmas, and it was just supposed to be like a one-off story, but it's snowballed into an entire series. So what I'm going to be doing is drafting up and writing a batch so that I can do fast publications in 2024. So basically like one every few months, because cozy mysteries tend to be released quite quickly and they're not going to be particularly long, so they're going to be banged out. And then in Q4, which is mental to think about, but we won't think about it too much because otherwise my brain will shut down, I'm going to be publishing the Seven Princes of Hell book. I'm going to be drafting up a book for NaNoWriMo. I'm going to actually be using the same story that I failed on last year. I need to talk about this. I'll do a video on this later. But I didn't do NaNoWriMo last year. And if you read my blog, you'll know why, but I will do a video. Yes, I will be redoing that story, completely reframing it, different character point of view, different genre, but the same place, location, story is all there. It's just a rejig. And then also I will be writing my cozy mystery batch. So it's quite a lot of things to do. I've got 3 publications, 1 book going to agents, and like basically 4 or 5 drafts that I'll be working on to not be published, and they'll be for the next year. So I think that's a lot. It seems like a lot, and it means I'll be working pretty continuously throughout the year. But that's what I need. I really need focus. I really do want to have some way of visualizing what I'm working on. So I may have to print out my own calendar so that I can write things in the way that I need it to be done. But that's where we're at. I also have this content planner for social media, so I'm trying to fill this in so that this is another kind of thing I need to really build up my audience on social medias, because I'm such a hermit. 2022 was the hermit Sam year. I was a gremlin/goblin, wasn't leaving the house much, wasn't seeing anybody, wasn't talking to anybody, was just like in my own mind cave where I forgot about the rest of the world, and I'm coming back. I'm coming back out into the open. So I'm going to be posting loads on social media. I'm on TikTok. I'll do all the links in the description. I'm going to be posting on social media more. I'm going to be blogging again. I'm going to be hopefully dropping into YouTube every month or so just to chat about particular things. Yeah, so I'm trying to plan out content to be good. And that's where we're at for this year. Does this seem like too much? Probably. I guess I'll see by the end of this month where I'm up to, where I'm falling short. But I'm excited to just be a human again. I'm also reading loads this year. So I've already read 1 graphic novel, The Lock and Key, the first installment of Lock and Key, which was really good. I'm currently reading Lila's Star, which is amazing. I mean, just the artwork in general is it's just beautiful, so highly recommend. And I'm also on my Kindle reading, that's my short story, so I'm not reading that. I'm reading the first Wheel of Time book, and yeah, I really need to go and pee, so I'm going to do that. Thank you very much for watching, subscribe, and I'll catch you some other time. See you later.